Hello everybody. I forgot the camera, so you get my camera phone for this moment. We today are learning more about what, Callie? The three little
pigs
and
cow.
Yeah. We're talking about what kind of animals are we going to put on our property next year. And having seasons now here in Tennessee, it's really taught us how to think ahead. We're here at the extension office, and we're going to be asking them permissions or funds available, or even finding animals in the local area to be able to help us to start our homestead with a little bit more animals. We just had chickens, and when we got chickens, we just kind of dove right in and ended up getting, how many chickens did we get right off the bat? We started with 0 chickens, and then we got 20. We got 20 chickens. And then mommy sent me off to go get more chickens, and then eventually we ended up getting more chickens. And then at one point we ended up getting meat birds, and then those chickens are the dinner that we have every night. And I'm sorry that offends you, but that's the way that farming works. Here's what I would say. We are incredibly grateful for the land that we have, and we're trying to maximize it. And so we're gonna have a little bit of a tour later today in this video, and we're gonna show them where we're gonna put the 3 little pigs. Callie has decided on the names. You wanna tell them the 3 little pigs' names that you came up with? They're not final, but they're at least, for now, probably the best options we have.
Tiny, shiny, and dark.
I asked her in the back of the car while we were driving over here on our date, because Callie and I are on a date today, what she wanted to name our pigs, and she said Tiny, Shiny, and Dawn.
Dawn is going to be the boy.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. What if we get 3 boys?
Yeah.
What if we get 3 girls? That'd be a lot of girls. And we are very aware that our newness requires us to have a steep learning curve quickly. But these are the professionals for the state ag department that might be able to give us some incredible ideas. So we're gonna go inside, and then we're gonna catch up with you guys in a few minutes, and then we're gonna tell you guys about the plan going forward. Sound good, Belle? Okay. Learning is so much fun. Callie, is learning the best thing ever?
Yeah.
Do we love learning?
Yeah.
It's really important. Learning has been sincerely such a vital part of our life out here, because this type of living is so different than what we're used to. You got a bunch of information. You hungry?
Yeah.
Let's go get a snack.
Yeah.
You cold, bud?
Give me your phone.
Look at that, dude. Frozen grass. Oh my goodness.
Hey, and even our favorite jump puddle is even frozen.
How do you know it's winter? There's no more leaves, and everything is frozen.
But Daddy, there's some leaves on those trees. Those leaves
Those are called evergreens. Say evergreen.
Evergreen.
Evergreens mean that they always stay green, like coniferous things like pine trees and cedar trees like we have. Unfortunately, the cedar trees, we have cedar rot, and those killed our fruit trees, and we are sad. Very, very sad. Can you get in the car, please? What you doing right there?
I want to sit right here.
Get in your seat. Come on. We're on a fun day. Friends, today is Kinsley's half birthday. She woke up, and who told you that it was her half birthday?
Myself.
Yourself. No. Who did you talk about it with?
Mom.
Mama. You talked about it with Mom?
Yes.
We got a bunch of chicken food because we're almost out. We're gonna try to move the chickens this morning.
Even though their water's frozen.
Their water's frozen this morning. I don't know how I completely blanked on this, but last year I had said next winter we need to have a heating element in our chickens' water, and somehow we blinked and we're here, and we don't have the heating element, and we have to order it. It's a thing. But yeah, it's starting to freeze again. And we'll see you guys in a minute.
You're so cute. Are you ready for the farm chores? You got all the toys and put them in your bucket. And close the front door. Close it. Good job. Yay.
I'm going to get eggs.
Oh, okay. I'll be out there in a second. Good morning, friends. So Philip went to the extension office and he was just getting some agriculture education and information over at their office, and we are looking around for possible resources in our area. But I wanted to walk around and show you guys some of the plans that we have and where I was thinking of putting certain animals and which ones we're looking at. And honestly, with this community here, this is priceless because the wisdom here is just out of this world and such a blessing, and how much we can learn from each other. So I'm going to share with you guys what I am thinking, and then for those of you who have experience or want to give your input, I would love to hear in the comments below what you guys are thinking. But before we get outside, I want to quickly thank KiwiCo for sponsoring this video. Last night, it got so dark so early, and so we've been doing our KiwiCo in the evenings because there is no light. Starting here, because of the trees, the light, we lose it at like 3:30. It's like getting dark, and literally by 5, we're in the pitch black. So we were able to do our KiwiCo boxes last night. They are our subscription crate that we do all of our STEAM activities, our science, technology, engineering, art, mathematics. They have crates for all ages. And you guys, this is our last discount for the year. And if you're anything like me and you are desiring to get your holiday shopping done early, you guys can do what we did last year. For all of the little relatives in our family, we sent subscriptions to KiwiCo to them, and it was a hit.
Good job. How did you do that?
Come watch. You can watch the next one. So I know how much our girls are absolutely obsessed with KiwiCo, so I know when I give it as a gift that it is going to be an exciting present that is opened. And it's not only that the kids are absolutely going to love it, but the parents will love it because of all the education and learning that is behind that gift. It's not just a toy that they're opening.
Place the motor between the tabs on the base and press to stick down.
Man, you're so good at reading, Kinsley.
So if you guys don't know what I mean about it being educational as well, is that you get these subscription boxes, and inside of them are all of these activities that the kids are learning and building and designing and creating, and everything for the activities is included in the box. So I'm not running to the store having to grab everything. It is all included. All I have to do is open it up and watch their eyes light up in excitement. It is so fun every single time. After we are done and we follow all the step-by-step instructions and do all of the building projects, there's also an activity workbook that we will use for the rest of the week for school. So if you guys are looking for a gift of problem solving and creativity, KiwiCo has 9 subscription crates for all ages. Philip and I have even done the adult crates, which were so fun. And yes, they now ship out to over 40 countries. So just go check out in the link in the description below. I have 50% off of your first crate. I'm telling you again, this is my last discount for you guys. So it's kiwico.com/PhilAndAlex50. I promise you, you will love them. So many of you who have tried KiwiCo have reached out to me and have shared how much you love it. So I don't want any of you guys to miss out on it. And I promise you, you will love it as much as our family does. Now, we are going to get outside and I'm going to show you all of our plans. But first, I am actually sending Philip off on a little men's retreat. And last night I told them I was going to make bread, and I frantically was making a couple of different recipes. Oh, we have a whiny baby this morning. Yes, she walks. Yes, I don't carry her all the time. I know every time I film, guys, like, she's in the carrier a lot when we film, but that's pretty much all the time that I am able to film, because otherwise we're a little whiny and clingy, huh? Nah. Actually, I haven't carried her in, like, weeks. A long time. Maybe, I don't know, maybe months? I don't know. It's been a long time. But we're a little whiny this morning, and Philip is getting out the door like within the next hour, so this is just what we're gonna do, so we're not whining anymore. Yeah, we get so much happier. She started laughing the moment I picked up the ergo. She was ha 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 ha. Did you laugh with the ergo? Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's silly. Yeah. Okay, so what I was trying to share was that I told the boys that I was going to make them a whole bunch of sourdough bread, and I didn't do the calculations right, and I didn't start until yesterday evening, and the bread that rises faster. I ended up leaving out all night and it overproved. It rose and then fell. And I'm like, I don't have time to like punch it down and see if it'll rise again. So I just baked it. And then my no-knead bread, I'm not sure what happened to that one either. They're all dense, but you know what? The best thing about sourdough is it all tastes good, because I made them some sourdough and then I made them a big pot of chili. And so let's be honest, dipping any kind of sourdough cracker or anything into chili will be delicious. And they're not super like, it's not like a brick dense, but they're definitely not my typical loaf. But I'm still learning. I definitely am still on the learning stages. I just felt like I almost like had it down. And then this morning baking 3 loaves that are just not awesome reminded me I'm still learning and I love learning. And so I actually just bought a class on like a more advanced bread making. The teacher went through all the struggles of learning how to bake bread, and then she learned from like an old timer who learned from her grandma, and how you didn't have a recipe, you just learned how to read the bread. Anyways, I'm gonna be taking a class from her and we're gonna be doing some more advanced like cinnamon rolls and all that kind of fun stuff. So anywho, so I'm gonna take this chili, I'm moving it out to the RV, and yes, the boys are taking an RV on their little boys trip. Bread is done, chili is done. Kitchen is somewhat a mess, but we got all of it done. Chickens are fed. We have to move the chickens and a couple more things to get Philip out the door, and then I'm going to show you all the places that we are planning on putting animals. Because I got really excited the last couple of days and I haven't been able to sleep. I'm so excited. So that's how you know that I'm really excited, because I'm a really good sleeper. All right, chili ready. Okay, we got the chili all secured into the RV. I experimented with the chili, which I normally wouldn't do, sending it off to friends and not just experimenting first on my family. But I added a little bit of a beer to the chili today. I've never done that before, but I figured the boys would appreciate it. And I took a little bite of it, and at first I didn't think I tasted much, and then right at the end I could taste a little bit of it, which I think it was actually really good.
Girls, hello my chickies. Good morning. Thank you for your eggs. Thank you for your eggs. Thank you for your eggs. I love you very much. They're so stinking tasty and yummy and fun. I love Buff Orpingtons. Friends, if you're gonna get chickens, get Buff Orpingtons. If you don't believe me, look up any chicken blog on the face of the planet on children and chickens, and they will all tell you that Buff Orpingtons are one of the best, because they are. And we got to do some work to this chicken coop now that we're starting to have freezes. And one of the main things is we're going to put plastic over these windows. One day I'm going to get to putting, I'd like to actually have like full on shades and doors, or like a kind of like a window, like a latching window door. I don't know how to explain that.
Who are you talking to?
The people on the internet. We gonna talk to them? Say hi. So like one day my goal would be to put a more permanent cover that can swivel. It's just a lot of work, right, Kinsley? Look at that.
Blue.
They're slowing down for sure. We'll put some hot pepper flakes in their food today, okay? Kind of get them warmed up. We're gonna do this real quick with some plastic, tarp it out, staple it in, move the chickens down here. Here we go.
Oh my stars. This is a heyday for them, and I am so sad. We're moving our grain storage out here. It's just a sealed deep freezer that's broken, so it's a great storage spot. But somehow my milling flour, the bag got soaked, and Philip said it was ruined. So therefore, the chickens are getting a very expensive breakfast. Dang it. You go behind her, go to her tail, and I'll get her head.
I want to go inside.
You can go inside. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna take on a little bit more farm chores than we were intending. There's just so much to do this morning. Philip went and got some feed. So Philip's just gonna drive our coop up. I'll talk more about the coop in another video. We've got a lot of lessons and learning that we've done in the last 2 years of having chickens. Oh my gosh, it's been 2 years. Cute. Ready?
Oh!
I got it. Okay, I am going to redeem myself and make a bunch of bread for us girls staying home.
May I help you?
Yeah, you can.
I'm helping my fabulous mama.
You're fabulous. You know that?
Yeah.
So I'm not actually discarding any. I'm just gonna make a heck of a ton of starter, and then we can make a bunch of loaves.
Should I use step stool?
Go ahead and just stir all that together. Okay. All right, so when I was sharing some bread stuff on Instagram, I got one comment of shocked that I was using metal. And just to clarify, stainless steel is fine for bread. It's aluminum that has the interaction that you don't want to use. So we use stainless steel bowls, and then I'll just usually stick with just like a wooden spoon to stir it. We're using just food grade plastic, these containers that I get on Amazon. Yes, I don't love that we use plastic. It has worked out for us. Eventually I want to switch over to ball jars and just have some really nice wide mouths, so that way it's easy to stir and clean up. But for now, this is what we're using.
This is really hard for me to stir.
No, you're doing great. So you just stir the best you can. When you're done, then mommy can finish it. Okay, and then instead of eyeballing this doubling process, I've been using a rubber band marking where my starter starts at, and so I can see when it has doubled. So I have found, and I like when I use the starter when it has not quite doubled, or it has doubled but not when it's doubled and then is coming back down. That's pretty much more my goal. So now that I've done this in the morning, so hopefully I won't be off schedule like yesterday. Yesterday I did the best I could with the time I had, and honestly, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter if it's awesome or great or perfect. I just think it's so much better for you. Next step is to use the hard wheat that we had bought and get a better grinder, and I want to start grinding my own flour and not feed it all to the chickens. And then even one step farther would be to sprout it first. And so then you would have sprouted, hand ground, homemade sourdough bread. That's gonna give us the vitamins back, the oils back, the health benefits of the wheat, because when you buy whole wheat flour, the oils that are in the whole wheat berries when you grind it, that can go rancid so fast that it's illegal to sell, at least here in the United States. And so there's not the entire whole wheat berry in the whole wheat flour that you buy. That's why it's such a benefit to buy the wheat berries and grind it yourself. Yes, it's a lot of extra work, but once we figure out a routine and a system, I think it'll actually really work out. Like Kinsley wanted to stir the sourdough. The kids actually really like being involved. It's not going to be all on me. You want to stir it? You can stir it. You know what? There's nothing wrong with over stirring it. So for now,
this is hard.
It is hard. So for now, we have a 5 and a 6-year-old, and so all of the bread making is on Mama, and they like to be.
I'm the 5-year-old.
You are the 5-year-old, and they like being in the kitchen with me. And eventually, though, I would say in just a handful of years, they'll learn how to make bread all by themselves. Do you want to make bread all by yourselves? Mm-hmm. Yeah, eventually they're going to see me doing it, and they're going to have these skills in their vault, in their tool belt from a young age. So when they are grown, they will know how to make bread. And that is so, it's just on the top priority list for me of things to teach my kids. And that's not everybody's goal. But it's definitely been my goal. Okay, when we're done stirring, we want to put a cloth on it so the fruit flies don't get to it.
Hello, you're my little twin.
Oh yeah, show me your twinning outfits today. Kinsley twinned me yesterday, and now you guys got to twin today. So cute.
Callie's not matching.
I'm gonna miss
Well,
you.
she's kind of matching.
Love you.
I
So
don't
much.
want Daddy to leave. I don't want Daddy.
I think we all kind of really coordinate today. Everyone stand up.
Yeah.
Look at all of us.
Look at
We're
all of
all
us.
twinning.
Love you.
Big. I'm actually a little bit taller because I'm 6.5 today.
Yes, you are.
Where's the yard work, Cassidy?
She's napping.
I miss you.
I miss you, Daddy. Okay, so we got the chickens all moved and they are in the top, I would say, quarter of the garden, and they got fresh grass. They were over there, and don't you worry, they definitely found their way to the most lush, bug-filled section of their space, which is the garden. So they're gonna be scratching, and they're going to add some fertilizer for me, and then we will just let this garden rest through the winter. So we've really been learning about how animals can help you so much with your land and with your space, and it really cuts down on the stuff that maybe you would have to do. And there's a couple sections that I would really like to bring in a couple of animals. You guys have heard me talk about them for a couple of times, but the plan is getting more and more solidified that I think if we keep the ball rolling, we will have new babies or new animals here in the spring, because that's when they usually will birth. Look at them, they're so happy. All right, so if I go into the garden, on the other side of their fence, they are in the pepper patch. And wow, they are already digging into that so well. So once they're done with it, we will kind of amend them, get the beds all covered and all of that. Okay, so ready for my ideas, guys? This is only a couple of days of me talking to Philip, and now he's gone. So I need someone to brainstorm with and get excited with. So you guys are on my list of who's gonna listen to me chit chat about my plans. Okay, so when we come down, we have the garden right near our house. Just from hearing other gardeners, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And Philip and I are very much that way. So for having a garden, we needed it where we could see it on a regular basis. So I wanted to see it out from my kitchen window and now our sunroom. But then if you come back down to our backyard, down straight to the back, Philip built a fire pit. There was already a fire pit hole here, and he just built the bricks up around it that was already existing. And then if you come back here, a lot of you guys haven't seen that we have this barn back here. I think we've done only a couple of vlogs back here. So if you kind of get the layout, the front of our property, house, backyard, we dropped some new gravel and it comes back around to the barn. Now right in front of the barn, there is a big, huge mound, which is actually a lot of the dirt that was dug out for us to go down a couple of feet right here for us to have a basement that we could enter in from the outside. So let's just walk this way. So down the gravel to the barn. So right now inside of the barn, if you guys have seen, the girls ride their bikes. The previous owners had this as like a skating rink. It is very cool. It's made with a bunch of plywood, and with the craziness of wood right now, to rebuild that would probably be very expensive. Thank goodness, wood prices seem to be coming down in price, but because this is pretty established, it's not insulated, and that's on our bucket list, but I don't really want to disturb what they've already built to build an animal barn. So what I'm thinking is extending out on the front. Now before, I used to think that we would put our RV right here, but where all the water flows down this property. I don't think it would be super smart unless we built a pad to have the RV right there. This side is actually less of the water flow. It really wants to flow down that side. But now that we have raised this up, can you tell that this is a much more raised up? It's like feet off the ground. Here, you can kind of tell by the trenches that I'm in. Can you see the difference in height? The trenches, there we go. And then when I go off, because they built all this soil up, this is down, and so now the water will flow down this way, and then there's another creek right over here. Nope, there's another creek right over here that flows down, and they both join right here and go right down this part of the property. And it can be a lot of water, but with this lifted up, I love the idea of this, and it's already slanted, so any kind of animal urine or anything will slide down the incline, and we will grade it and make it even smoother. But what if we did some posts out here? We could do a carport barn with some 3 sides. We could do a full enclosed barn, and we could do a milking stall area. And I know a lot of you gave me some good feedback on how cows don't necessarily need to be in the barn. It does get cold here. I would like to build up some compost, so maybe even having them in the barn during the really cold time and being able to collect that would be really helpful for compost. But I'm imagining this very beautiful barn right out the front right here, keeping this walkway down the side of what the animal barn would be, and we could still go access and use that as more of a, we call it a party barn, but it's nowhere near a party barn. Right now it's a ride your bike barn, but I feel like we could make a really beautiful barn in the front. I am not sure on the cost of the different types of barns I am thinking of, but at least enough to have a good sturdy shelter for long term would be when the cow would birth, and we need to have a safe, comfortable spot for them and their new calf, keep the calf nice and warm in a barn setting versus out on our field. But for the rest of the time, we will be doing mobile fences. You guys have seen us do mobile chicken fences. We'll keep the same method for a cow and move them to different parts of our pasture. And we have plenty of pasture for a cow or two. And then in the winter months, we would have to give some hay. But the really good thing about bringing in a cow is that their manure and their moving around, they will help the health of your grass, and that will feed them better. It's like this beautiful, rich life cycle. We'll run the chickens behind the cows, so that way any kind of fly larva would be eaten up by our chickens. Sounds gross, but it's really nice to keep the flies off of the cow and kind of keep that beautiful life cycle of every animal working together. Now, okay, so can you envision that outside in front of our barn right here would be the animal barn. And then if you see, we've got a lot of woods, and there are parts of it that are actually decently flat. Like I would say the first at least 20 feet of this all the way down is flat that we could push back, and we don't have to necessarily pull down the trees except for the ones that are dead, and we could add some more pasture. Now over here, same thing. There is this creek that goes up here, and this entire area has some hill to it, but there are definitely parts that are pretty significantly flat. And the same thing on the other side of our house over there, that entire area, there's a big, huge chunk that's decently flat. So we would like to add some more pasture to be able to give to the cow. So how are we going to do that? I really want to bring in some pigs. So there's a lot of underbrush, and Philip could definitely come in here with a weed whacker, a bush hog. What, babe? Got your hiking stick?
Hiking.
Good job. So Philip could definitely come around here and clear a lot of this space. And I know I haven't done a lot of vlogs walking around our property, so hopefully the more we have animals, the more you'll kind of understand the layout that I'm talking about. But for example, we would run an electric fence for the pigs to stay in this section for a while, and we would get a breed that is really good at underbrush. So I was looking at the Coonies, and someone who I'm talking to that I will hopefully share more about her as time goes on, but we might be buying our cow through her. But she said that she had mule-footed pigs and they're really good for underbrush, so I'm going to research and look into that. So Philip could spend days and days clearing this out, or we could get some pigs that would do a lot of the work for us, fertilize it for us, and then they would be a life cycle to feeding our family. Now, if the talk of meat is uncomfortable for you, as our life goes on, especially on this channel, if we do not separate this channel into a homestead and a family growing infertility separate channels, you're going to hear a lot more about sustainability, and we think it's super important. Now, if you don't eat meat, I understand. So weird, so gross, don't want to talk about. Now, if you eat meat and you are buying it from the grocery store, the butcher houses are not as pretty as you could try to not imagine. I know my mom still says my mom is the most crunchy granola healthy person you'll ever know, and I ask her, but don't you know where your meat comes from? And she goes, yeah, the grocery store, and I don't want to think about it. And I get it, and I totally understand. But if we have pigs, that would be the whole life cycle. Is they would be here, they would clear our land, we would grow them, and eventually, if any of you eat bacon, that is where bacon comes from. So recap, big idea, barn right here. Philip and I want to build and do everything. I don't know how much help we would have to bring in. I don't even know. I'm imagining a barn raising day. It would just be so neat to develop that space. Clear out the land with the pigs, add more pasture, and that pasture eventually could be used by the cow. Side question, does anyone know how cows would do in an orchard? Pretty baby trees, they're not super established. Just asking. If we use this pasture over here, that's going to be our full orchard. Right now it has like 7 trees. Anybody's opinion, information, knowledge on that, can you leave it in the comments below? Greatly appreciate it. So yes, going forward, I think that we will have our plenty of chickens. We'll hopefully have a dairy cow and have some pigs coming this next year. And then hopefully, since Philip's gone on a trip and he won't see this video, I will ask, and I will save this till the end. I know we were reached out to before, and I can't find the email. I keep looking for the email, but some of you guys have puppies, and I think it would be very cool to give Philip a dog at some point. Not committing to it, but we want a Great Pyrenees to be a farm dog, but we also don't want a Great Pyrenees to scare away the deer. So we are looking at maybe a house dog. So I'm really leaning towards a golden retriever, but I really don't want the shedding, and I don't really love the golden doodles. I know a lot of people love the golden doodles. I love a pure golden retriever. Philip and I both love goldens and labs. I would love a Bernese mountain dog, but again, that would be more of an outdoor farm dog, and I know they have health issues. Okay, this is a long-winded vlog. It is showing me that we need to be chit-chatting on a more regular basis so I can pick your brain, ask you questions, and we can develop this farm together. I just am so thankful for each of you that have been wanting to do a homestead life and you're excited to come on this journey. So many of you are already there and you've been doing it for years. We've been dreaming of doing this for 10 years. And the fact that we're finally here is such a blessing. But with the way the world has gone over the last couple of years, I know a lot of more people are looking to get a little bit more sustainable. We could literally live on eggs if we needed to. Not that I would want to just eat eggs, but we are learning to become more self-sustainable. I think there really is some beauty that a lot of us are coming back to the way that the home was run a couple hundred years ago. I think it was only natural for people to run away from this life and kind of have a different lifestyle. But I think over just a couple of generations, I see a lot of people wanting to run back to what our great-great-grandparents were doing as their regular everyday life. There's so much fulfillment and beauty of just being outside, being in nature, and how much it just gives back. And if you are not there being able to have a homestead, if maybe you don't even want one at all, hopefully you can just enjoy the beauty and the journey that we are on as we bring you guys along. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in our next video. Go let your love multiply. Bye guys.